And now, it's time for Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. For the next 2 hours, join Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, Corey Sandin, and this week's special expert guest for fishing information, new techniques to catch more fish, and the most current scoop on what's happening in the water. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Yamaha Outboards. Reliability starts here. By Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. And Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. Get ready for the fastest 2 hours on radio with the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, and Corey Sandin.
Good morning, anglers, and welcome to Let's Talk Hookup. I'm Pete Gray with Rock Cod Rick Maxa. We're in the world headquarters of Let's Talk Hookup right here next to the San Diego Landings in Point Loma, where it's a busy morning this morning. We have Captain Ryan Bostian from the San Diego out of C4 Sport Fishing here with us today. Talk some yellowtail and a lot more. You stay tuned. This is Southern California's Sport Fishing Voice. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the mightier 1090.
You've heard all about it. You know the anglers catching fish have it, so what's holding you back? It's a fact. FishDope.com really does help you catch more fish and burn less fuel. FishDope.com is the only fish finding service with a spotter plane along with a crew of top anglers on the water almost every day that report actual locations and catches. You can get daily catch reports from Point Conception to San Martin Island, 365 days a year. FishDope.com is for everyone, whether you have your own boat, fish on your friend's boat, or a sport boat. FishDope.com has online planning tools, moon phase, tides, hot bite icons, and more. So bottom line is, if you don't have FishDope.com, well, you're probably missing a lot of bites. Membership costs less than $50 of gas, and that's for the entire year. That's right, 1 year. What a bargain. Plus, use the special code to save $20 on a new FishDope.com membership. Check it out today. FishDope.com. Catch more fish, burn less fuel.
Your San Diego County Ford dealer knows that vehicles are not one size fits all, and they have a variety to choose from to suit your individual wants and needs. Looking for a truck to handle both work and play? The legendary F-150 has you covered with its military-grade aluminum alloy body and high-strength steel frame and smart technology, like the available Pro Trailer Backup Assist to help you back up your boat with the turn of a dial. Or do you need a vehicle that's ready for your next adventure? The Ford Ranger is standing by, so grab your gear and let's go. This adventure ready truck has an available terrain management system that has 4 selectable drive modes depending on what terrain you're on for optimum performance. Is an SUV more your speed? No problem. Your San Diego County Ford dealers have those too. The 2020 Ford Explorer has been completely redesigned inside and out and has available third row power fold seats to easily accommodate more passengers or cargo and available twin panel moonroof to let the outdoors in. Visit buyfordnow.com to learn more or visit your nearest San Diego County Ford dealer today. They'll be glad to hook you up.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Going to be a great day today. Talking fishing. All good, man.
Yeah, with Mr. Yellowtail himself, Captain Ryan Bostian. Good morning.
Good morning,
Captain
Pete.
Ryan.
Good morning, Rick. How you doing?
I can't believe you've never been in the world headquarters here. So that means it's been way too long since you've been on Let's Talk Hookup. So welcome and glad to have you.
Thank you. This is the first time I've seen you guys since the whole world changed.
Yeah, right?
COVID.
Yeah.
A lot has happened since I've seen you guys.
A lot has happened.
Yeah, it's because your boat never stops running.
Yeah, the boat.
Yeah, you're always working.
We went to the limited load thing, 34 passengers, and obviously we had to raise the price a bit, but it's been fantastic. We can't complain. It's our quality of life as a crew member has gone up, taking 34 people opposed to 50 plus, and it's we feel very fortunate to have the business that we've had over the last year because the world has gone crazy.
Yeah, are you sticking with that?
We are. We enjoy it so much. The passengers, the feedback we get from them, they enjoy it. It can be tough to get a reservation at times. A lot of our trips are sold out 2 weeks in advance, but if you get a reservation and you get on the boat, it's a much nicer experience.
Yeah.
So,
You're providing the same amount of crew, right? But the level of customer service is just, I mean, let's face it, there's more of you per person than there would have been before.
Yes, the same amount of crew, same guys, and since I started driving these full day trips on the local boats here, the fishing has changed so much. Now we have to have 150-pound bluefin gear. You know,
you never know, right?
Yeah, and that goes along with our sand bass gear and our sculpin gear. So having a lot of better crew member to passenger ratio has helped to stay up with the changing fishing, and it's I think people will like it when they come out and see our program now.
Yeah, and of course you're still running daily full day trips, right?
Yeah,
out of Seaforth.
Yeah, so we put that full day title on it to try to let people know that when they get on the boat, don't tell their wife they're going to be home for dinner at 5 o'clock because we typically get in 6:30, 7, between 5:30 and 7:30 is when we get back to the dock. So it is a full day. You're not standing at the rail fishing the whole time, but the captain and the crew are. That's for sure. They're always looking, and we're at the Coronado Islands right now targeting yellowtail, which has been up and down in the beginning of the season. It was real consistent, 20 to 40 fish a day for the first 3 weeks of our season. And just recently, in the last couple of weeks, it's starting to taper off. And we did an exploratory offshore trip on Thursday. We saw bluefin. We saw some yellowtail. We just didn't see a lot of either of them, just a little bit of signal. And with what these day-and-a-half guys are catching, it won't be long now till we're offshore.
But it's here. It's within your range.
Oh yeah, we looked at the water chart and we saw an edge that we liked, and we had a little information from some day-and-a-half guys coming home. Randy on the Royal Star saw some fish on his way home. And we were able to drive right to him. I mean, within 15 minutes of putting the binoculars up, the guy on the roof said he saw some 120-pounders jumping out of the water.
Come on. How cool is that?
And so we drove over there, and it's, all the captains that have fished for these bluefin. In order for us to catch some, you have to be around a lot.
Right.
Because they're just so smart. They never really bite wide open like a yellowfin will. So the days that you see, like, limit fishing, these boats are around a tonnage of bluefin. So if you're only around a decent amount, you don't get any bites. Yeah. You need to be around the meat to catch some.
And is there meat around?
There is. It's really tough. One boat, one day that we were out there, we could have been 4 miles off of them.
Sure. Yeah, totally.
And we didn't see biomass or meat, but that doesn't mean it wasn't there. The conditions were gray, and it was tough to see, and we saw what I would call just a little bit of signal, small schools, scattered fish, giant schools that we like to stop on.
Yeah.
So.
But now what about the yellowtail at the islands? I mean, they're just not a lot around right now?
Yeah, I drove the boat the last 3 days, and we saw some really nice schools, really nice, where if they were in bite mode, we would stop the boat and catch 50 in one stop.
Wow.
But they just... we'd throw chum at them, and they wouldn't even look at us. There's a lot of bait in the water. There's a lot of red crab, anchovy, mackerel, squid even. And you just have to catch those yellowtail at the perfect time.
Yeah.
The couple hours, 1 hour in a day this time of year. When the water's cool like this, they're never going to, just feed all day long like they do in the summertime sometimes. The water's cool like this, timing is important. So... we'll see it to where they're active for an hour a day, 2 hours a day, half an hour sometimes. And if you're not around them at that perfect time, you don't catch them.
Yeah, stars just have to align.
Yeah, you got to get a little bit lucky with timing like that. Yesterday there was the day before yesterday, we caught 10, and it happened in about 30 minutes.
Wow.
Just all of a sudden, they decided to bite a little bit. They weren't biting before that. We couldn't get a bite. They didn't bite after that. There was a little 30, 40-minute window where they got active and we could hook some.
So you're seeing them, they just don't want to bite.
Yeah, we're seeing them. They're weird. They're cool water yellowtail. Yeah. Cool water yellowtail are moody.
Is there any kind of visual sign for you when they are active versus not, or is it just 100% electronics and the only sign is you drove over a similar school 4 times for nothing, and now all of a sudden they're starting to bite? Like, is there anything on your end that shows all right, well, these things are starting to get with it?
Well, I can tell on the electronics after the first few pieces of chum go in the water, because when we stop on them on the sonar, and then we have them on the up and down meter. We can tell by how they start to separate and start hunting on the electronics. Yesterday, the schools we stopped on, they just stayed in a tight formation. They never broke out of their school.
Yeah.
And I could tell almost before we even took the engines out of gear that we weren't going to hook any. Yeah, and so the days that we do have a good stop, the first few pieces of chum hit the water, and you can see them on the electronics just spreading out, starting to hunt around, and then usually 30 seconds later, the guys are yelling boil. But we could see it on the electronics first.
That's a great description. That's
cool.
So are you seeing it on the up and down or the side scan?
The side scan, yeah. We pretty much see everything on the side scan first. It's pretty rare that we see something on the up and down meter first. It does happen. We're just so used to the side scan sonar that's our main tool that we use. If we didn't have it, I'd be driving around real slow, looking for fish on the up and down meter, and just hoping that you drive over some. But thing I've noticed over the years is all fish don't like to be run over. Even like barracuda, sand bass, they don't like to be run over. They just don't. You have to get in front of them. You do run them over occasionally. That's usually when there's a lot around. If you see a big school on your up and down meter, you're probably going to catch them because they don't really like to be run over.
Interesting.
Yeah, we typically have to chase them a lot.
Is the water, you mentioned cool water. Here it is almost May 1st, right? Is the water cooler than it has been?
It's about the same. It's on the surface, it's 62.5 to 61. And I've kind of, over the years, the thing I love about this is that we're all always learning. And over the last few years, I haven't gotten hung up on water temperature too much. When we first started fishing these yellowtail, the beginning of this year, we were catching them in 57.5 degree water. And what really got me thinking about the water temperature thing is watching these yellowtail on the electronics, how when we get near them, they dive, even in the summertime, they dive from the surface all the way to the bottom. You talk to the divers that are in the water, and even myself, when I've been in the water, once you dive 20 feet below the surface, even when the water's 70 on the surface, it's 55 on the bottom. And I watch these yellowtail dive from 70-degree water all the way down to the bottom, then come rocketing back up to chase our chum, and now they're boiling. They just went through a 15-degree water change, and it didn't even phase them.
Right. Wow.
So I'm not as hung up on water temp as I used to be for yellowtail. I mean, they spend a lot of their life on the bottom, and they can handle some cold water. They're not afraid of cold water at all.
That's a really cool outlook. You're right, yeah. But like you say, I mean, and you've posted pictures of that before, and you see the whole school, and it's easy for you to see because it hits the bottom floor and then goes straight back like a V shape on the machine.
And I used to think I'm still torn on this. I used to think that they were diving down to the bottom to get away from us, but now I think they're actually that's the way they hunt prey. Is they go down and they want to come up from underneath them. They want to attack their prey from
because they're always looking up.
They're always looking up, yeah. So when I see them dive down, I kind of get excited because I want to watch them come flying to the surface.
Eat the baits.
And eat the baits, yeah.
So when you pull up the Coronado Islands and you see conditions and you go, oh, man, they're going to bite today. What is that condition?
That condition is current mainly. If the current is going some sort of easterly direction, whether it be northeast, southeast, due east, or even like due south, is really good current. Birds, we're so lucky here in this area that we get a lot of help from the birds. The birds put us on most of the fish. And it can be real subtle. Like lately this year, I'm about to give out a little tip here that Matt might kill me for. But booby birds. There's a really good population of booby birds in the Coronado Islands the last couple of years. And one booby bird has put us on these yellowtail most of the days.
Wow.
Just one. Kidding. Yes. If you see one diving or gliding shearwater just in an area, that's where they're at.
Really?
It's been real subtle this year. It's been one or two birds,
yeah.
Of course, there's the days where there's 500 seagulls on them, and that's cool too. But more often than not this year, it's been real subtle bird sign, just a couple birds. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we know now what the good sign is. When you pull up the islands, what's the bad? What's? It's like, oh man, this is not good conditions.
Be a tough day today.
What's that condition?
Yeah. When I was in Hawaii with my family and the last couple of weeks, and Matt was sending me text messages all throughout the day of the sign he was seeing, and he kept telling me out to sea, and that is when the current is going out towards the west. We call it out to sea conditions, and he dealt with a lot of that while I was on vacation.
Yeah.
That's bad sign. One thing the Coronado Islands do a lot that I don't know if it happens at other places is it can be out to sea in the morning a lot, and by the afternoon it's beautiful. Southeast current, totally 180-degree change from the morning. That happens a lot. So
interesting.
Yeah, if we get down there and we see that the water is we look for the foam lines coming off the ends of the islands. That's one of the first things I look for the foam lines coming off the ends of North Island or South Island or Middle Rock. If those are kicked out to sea, that's usually we're going to have to wait a little bit before we see some.
Yeah. Wow, really giving out some great tips here. Now, tell us a little bit about the San Diego, the operation, the boat, for those of our listeners that may be not familiar with what you do.
Yeah, the San Diego is a 75 by 25 classic sport fishing boat. Operates out of Seaforth in Mission Bay. It's got a big galley, a big upper deck. Built in 1965, and we do these 5:30 to 6 in the evening trips every single day, targeting whatever is within our range. Our range is about 50 miles from Mission Bay, so springtime it's Coronado Island yellowtail, summertime it's offshore for bluefin, yellowtail, Dorado offshore. We're fully committed. We are it's a busy morning here down at the dock. All these boats that came in, we try to get information from everyone that's on the water, and if there's something within our range, we want to take you guys to catch it.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So now you're talking to these guys. Give us a report. What happened yesterday? A lot of day-and-a-half boats went out yesterday. What happened?
Yeah, I called Ray on the American Angler yesterday before I left the boat so I could have a report for you guys. And, the day before, I think it was Thursday, they had really good fishing. Yeah. All the boats down there at limits of bluefin. Yesterday, they saw plenty of fish. They saw mainly big ones yesterday. Unless something changed, like in the evening that I don't know about yet. When I talked to Ray, he said they were seeing sign of mostly big bluefin. And those big bluefin are so smart, they don't let their guard down very often. So they were just able to catch a few. The day that they really did good, they got on some 40 to 60 pounders, and everyone did real good on the flat falls and sinker rig sardines, and that day was really, really good. And that's just bluefin fishing right there.
Yeah.
You just have to hope that you're there on the right day.
Right. When they want to bite.
Yeah. If you're a passenger looking to go on a trip, just book a trip for when it works for your life. Don't try to time the fish counts. Don't try to go the day after they do really well. That usually doesn't work out. If you want to look at anything, look at weather. Look at weather. Go any time from now to Halloween, you have a shot. Even Thanksgiving, you have a shot of a really good bluefin trip with these guys on these day-and-a-half boats.
Sure.
But you need to go step on the boat with the right outlook that you're going out to enjoy the ocean. If you get on a good bite, that's a bonus.
Absolutely.
And hopefully you're there on the right day. And if you go enough days, you'll collide with a biting day eventually.
You'll get one.
And it's truly special. Yeah, I mean, we're so lucky to have these fish here. They're amazing.
Spectacular.
They're a beautiful, beautiful fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when one gets on the San Diego on a day trip to go catch bluefin, what do they bring?
Well, that's going to depend a lot on what size fish we've been seeing, but the same thing you would bring on a day-and-a-half boat.
Okay.
Yeah, we always tell people to bring a staple of our boat is like a 25-pound fly line bait rod. That's
number one.
Yeah, number one. That's a rod you can use for fly lining for yellowtail at the islands. You can use it for fly lining offshore for tuna. And then after that, you're going to want like a 40 or a 50-pound rod that you can use to yo-yo for yellowtail, or you can use for flat falling offshore, for tuna. And then if you have, something heavier with a 2-speed reel, a 60, 80, 100-pound rod, go ahead and bring that also, because
you never know.
You never know, yeah. And, Ricky would know, more of what these guys are recommending right now. We're still in Coronado Island mode right now, so I haven't thought too much about, offshore tackle yet, but we'll get there in the next few weeks.
Yeah,
I'm sure
it's
we'll
going to
be
happen.
out there. Yeah.
Well, as you can hear, we have a great show lined up for you today. A lot to talk about with Captain Ryan Bostian from the San Diego.
Yeah, so much great stuff to cover and so much fun stuff to talk about this morning. And the phones are already showing it. They're packed up solid. And it's going to be a great day today and so much time for you to get your call in. And we would absolutely love to hear from you. If you want to join us on Let's Talk Hookup this morning, 213-432-1090. Again, 213-432-1090. That's how you reach us here on Let's Talk Hookup this morning. Or another great option, text to the show. If you want to send us a text and you've got a question for Captain Ryan, shoot us a call or a text rather on the Let's Talk Hookup app. It's only available on the Let's Talk Hookup app. It's a totally free download on your Android or your iPhone, and we all have a lot of fun reading text messages throughout the day. And not only are we going to be talking fishing and having great info with Captain Ryan, we are also giving away a killer prize. One lucky caller at the end of the show today is going to get to go fishing on the San Diego. Get in on all this great fun that we've been talking about already, because you're going on a full day trip out of C4 Sport Fishing, and we're really excited to get to give away such an awesome trip and a great opportunity for you. And when we come back, we're going to be taking your phone calls. Lots of great info coming your way. You stay tuned. You're listening to Southern California's sport fishing voice. This is Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the mightier 1090.
It's a fact of life in Southern California. Hard water. And if you have a pool, your tile shows it. Here comes San Diego Pool Tile Cleaning to the rescue. With their specialized equipment, SD Pool Tile Cleaning can safely remove the stubborn calcium deposits most pool owners struggle with. SD Pool Tile Cleaning can make your tile look bright and clean, almost like new again. High-pressure pool maintenance cleaning can damage grout, stone, and dislodged tiles. San Diego Pool Tile Cleaning uses a low-pressure media blasting technique to protect your pool surface from damage and yield fantastic results. So stop making excuses for your stained tiles on your pool. Make them look like new again with San Diego Pool Tile Cleaning. Check their website at sdpooltilecleaning.com and let their professional staff rejuvenate your pool tile. When it comes to professional swimming pool tile cleaning service, there's only one name you can trust: San Diego Pool Tile Cleaning. Check sdpooltilecleaning.com.
Henry David Thoreau said, "Many men go fishing all their lives without knowing that it's not the fish they are after." Let me tell you, it's been one wild year, but one thing that still rings true is how nice it is to get out on the water. And at Fast Lane Kayaking, we have the tools to do it. Catch fish in social distance on the super stable and fully loaded fishing machine, the Hobie Pro Angler, now available with the Mirage Drive 360. Or explore our beautiful coastlines, bays, and lakes in comfort on a Hobie Compass or Passport. Or load up the car and hit the road with the inflatable Hobie i11S and kayak the stunning lakes in Eastern Sierra, or wherever you can dream of. The Fast Lane team cannot begin to tell you how much we appreciate your business over the last 41 years. We are family-owned and operated, and always have been, and we're here to help you get on the water and spread the stoke. Check out our website at fastlanekayaking.com or stop by the shop in Dana Landing Marina, right on the water in Mission Bay. Let's get out and make some memories.
For your next fishing adventure, check Point Loma Sport Fishing. They offer half-day and full-day trips daily, perfect for families and the novice or seasoned fishermen. Point Loma Sport Fishing also offers overnight to multi-day trips, targeting the best of seasonal catches. Visit PointLomaSportFishing.com, where you can purchase tickets online and get more information on the trips available, or call 619-223-1627. Want to go fishing? Point Loma Sport Fishing has you covered.
Gotta love California in the summer. Just remember, COVID is still with us, so if you're going to the water, plan ahead, follow local public health guidelines, and make sure everyone wears a life jacket. Save the ones you love. A message from California State Parks Division of Boating and Waterways.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having a great time this morning. Again, if you want to get through, it's a busy morning, but lots of times for your phone calls, 213-432-1090, or shoot us a text via the Let's Talk Hookup app.
Yeah, a great text to start the show here. Love fishing on the San Diego. Great crew. Currently have a 60-pound setup for big bluefin. Trying to decide what size line for my smaller setup. The reel is rated to 15 to 30 pounds. What size line would you recommend? And that's from Helen in Hesperia.
Okay. I would go with that 25-pound fly line outfit that we talked about. Yeah, that
Mono, Power Pro, what are you putting on that?
We like to that's a tough question. It depends on the experience level of the angler. I always tell everyone, get mono mastered. Get very comfortable fishing with mono. When you can go out for a day and be involved in very few tangles, and you think you want to try Spectra after that to a top shot, go for it. But mono is so much more forgiving that you want to get very comfortable fishing mono before you move to Spectra. You know, it's like playing golf or something. I wouldn't go play the same golf course that Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods are playing.
Yeah.
I would start out at Mission Bay or Tecolote and then work myself up to a professional course. That's how I feel about fishing line. Get mono mastered and then move on to your Spectra top shot things.
Great advice.
That is so good because, a short Spectra, little fluorocarbon, perhaps in like you say, in a master's hand, it provides some advantage. But with everything up until then, it just goes the other direction because it's a lot harder to cast. And if you're not super savvy about what you're doing and all the guys around you doing, you will end up in more tangles. Like the advantage goes away real fast unless it's done perfect.
Totally. Yes. And part of that is you need to have all the knots mastered, the connection. You need to have a connection knot mastered. I've seen a lot of guys over the last few years. A lot of times on these trips on the San Diego, our opportunities to catch something are relatively short. And I've seen guys struggling with connections when we're getting our best shot of the day, and the crew's doing their best to help them out, but they're gapping fish and they're biting. And you need to be comfortable with all the connection knots to where you can do it yourself in case the whole crew is busy. And you're right, Rick. There's some advantages that the short top shot is going to give you, but it's only after you have mastered mono, in my opinion.
Okay.
And that doesn't mean you don't want Power Pro on your reel as a backing. Still filling the reel, 50% or 75% of the way full of Power Pro so that you have plenty of line. It is still a better way to go. You just want your working line to be monofilament. The line that you cast your bait with, the little bit of line that comes off the reel while you're fly lining. Once you hook the fish, if there's 100 feet or 100 yards or whatever you're comfortable working them out with, it's still nice to have that Power Pro as a backing, simply for the fact that the next time you go, if you want to change your line, you're changing out a relatively short amount instead of burning 300 yards of mono every time.
For sure.
Yep, that's how we do it. We typically fill our reels, half or 2/3 of the way with Power Pro, and then we put mono on top of it. And if we're fishing bluefin or something that's touchy, we'll splice a small piece of fluorocarbon to the mono.
Okay.
So that's the way we do it a lot.
All right. There you go. Good text.
Great text.
So let's go ahead and jump in the phones.
You got it. Well, the phones are packed solid, and we're going to start it off with Ed. He's calling us from San Diego this morning. Good morning, Ed. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey, good morning, guys. I have a question for Ryan. Do you remember me? I fished with you probably 20-plus years ago.
Of course. 40 years ago. Yesterday, right?
How you doing, Ed?
I used to bring rice balls with spam and tacos and I guess some pizzas.
Yes, those were delicious.
Yeah, those were the days. I don't fish that much anymore. But anyway, I think it's better when you fish like the surface iron yellowtail, I guess on mono, preferable than braid. And my reason is, I don't know if you remember how I used to pull on fish, but when you straight grind a yellow, I think the mono is going to give you an advantage because it's like the rubber band effect. So once you get bit, you just keep on grinding, and the yellow can't turn his head because I used to fish with 40-pound eyes or blues. with the nulls, and I brought some big ones in, no drag. I never fished with drag, though. I used to lock my drag down, but I think the mono's better. Because when I did fish recently, or a couple of years ago, I fished braid. My son fishes braid, Kent, and cod. But every, barracuda I hooked locally, I never get it to the boat. I ripped it out of their jaw.
Well, hey, Ed, it sounds like it's time to get back on the San Diego, and we sure appreciate your call this morning. Thanks a lot. Hey, let's head south down to Rancho Leonero. Talk to John Ireland. Buenos dias, John.
Morning, John.
Hello, Ryan.
Yo, John.
Yo, John.
Hey, can you hear me?
There you are.
Yeah, we got you now.
Okay, good. These Mexican lines. Beautiful day down here, you guys. Beautiful. It's cool mornings and then really warming up in the day into the low 80s. It's a beautiful spring weather. Water's warming. Now we got 75-degree water, consistent across the bay, and it's kind of transitional times now. It really is. The north winds have died down. No more north winds, so water's been clear and flat all week. Very fishable. We've got a lot of good bait right now. As much bait as I can recall in the last few years. Lots of sardine around and caballito live, and that's what everybody's using for bait. And sardine in particular, some pretty good-sized sardine that are really making for better fishing. A lot of striped marlin right now. Right there, they were last week. They were just right off the bump there off of La Rivera, not 2 or 3 miles off the beach. They've moved much further out. They're probably 15 to 20 miles right off the frontier. Lots of jumpers and tailors, and people are releasing, anglers are releasing multiple fish. They're taking the ballyhoo, the troll ballyhoo. They're all over that. So very, very good striped marlin fishing right now. We're getting a lot of African pompano. The guests have been really going after them. 3 to 10 pound fish, but the boats are bringing in 20 plus fish a day. Real nice pompano and good eating too. So a lot of African pompano around. People that want that. They're on all the high spots. The Lighthouse and Pescadero in particular are producing a lot of them. We're catching some big yellow and some solitary fish, down by the Lighthouse and then along the Rincon, along the Pomo Park border there. On drift fishing on sardine, picking up nice fish, 30 to 70 pound fish. You might have to fish half a day to pick up one, but they're real quality fish coming in, very solitary. but big yellowfin, nice yellowfin, some real tuggers. Lots of white skipjack around, got as many as you want. Making great sushi. We're having sushi every night at the bar. Real nice fish and plenty of them around as well. Kind of transitional right now, guys. We're going from spring into summer. And as the water warms and it hits about 80, which should happen in the next 2 or 3 weeks, it's really going to wide open. But good fishing right now, especially for those striped marlin. If you
Fun time. Great weather and great fishing at Rancho Leonero. Are there spots available this spring, summer, fall, John, for people that want to get a great escape?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah, we've got rooms available throughout the season. Pretty busy during our Let's Talk Hookup tournament, but other than that, there's rooms available, yeah. We're jammed up for the tournament. Looking forward to that.
It's going to be fun.
John, I got to say, I couldn't believe that I hadn't done it, but in all the years of coming down and going to the ranch, and I always said it's like my favorite place in the whole world to be, and we spent so much time down there. And you've talked about it for years, the snorkeling in front of the ranch, and having never been, I can't believe that I had never put a mask and fins on before. And we were down last week. It's like a highlight of our trip was we went and did a snorkel right on the reef, right in front of the ranch. And I could not believe how much fish lives on that reef directly in front of the hotel. I mean, 15 steps from where your room is.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a world-class snorkel destination. I fished there, and I caught a bunch of fish on that reef, but I never put a mask and fins on. And I'll never do that trip again without having, put a mask on and going in after fishing just for a quick 15 minutes, little relax after you're fishing. It was amazing. And I know you've always talked about it forever, and I just never experienced it. I could not believe it.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. I've dove all over the world, and it's truly the best snorkeling in the world right there in front. You see so many fish, you wonder, why don't I catch many when I'm off the boat? It's because it's just amazing how many fish you see on that reef in front.
Totally.
Great snorkeling, and like you say, couldn't be closer. really proud of it. I think that's the best part of the ranch, to be honest with you.
One of many.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hey, John, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, come down and visit Rancho Leonero. How do we do it?
Thanks, Pedro. It's 800-646-2252 or rancholeonero.com. A lot of new photos on the website, guys.
You've been down there, haven't you?
I have not.
Oh, you have?
No, I want to. I want to go down there.
Yeah. I'm sure Frank's
come on down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Hey, John, great talking to you, and we'll talk to you next Sunday.
Thank you, gentlemen. Great talking to you guys, too.
All right.
Thanks, buddy. All right, let's jump right back into the phones. They're jam-packed. John and Mira Mesa's up next on Let's Talk Hookup. What's up, John?
Hey, good morning. Thanks for taking my call. Hey, I'm calling because this is kind of a promise I made to Matt's mom, and what I mean by that is a couple of years ago, I was at Petco Park, standing in line next to this lady. We struck up a conversation, and when she learned that I was a local and that I fish a sport boat, she goes, "Oh, then you know my son Matt on the San Diego." And then Ryan, she couldn't stop talking enough about you, and she was saying how lucky Matt was to have you as a mentor and under your tutelage and everything. And so I told her, well, if I get an opportunity to call him or talk to him, I'll let him know that you said hi. So that's what I'm doing.
Oh, that's cool.
Thank you. Yeah, Matt's mom,
2 years late,
Deborah.
2 years too late, but yeah.
Thank you for calling. Matt's mom, Deborah's a madre, and so she's at all the San Diego Padres
really?
games.
Oh,
Just
okay.
a wonderful lady. Yeah,
That's rad.
Yeah, I'm the one who's lucky, not Matt. I'm the one who's lucky to have him on the boat.
Yeah, he's a pretty awesome second captain.
Oh, he's only worked on one boat, which is rare these days.
It's on the San Diego.
That's it. Yeah, he came from the Fisherman's. Yeah, he came from Fisherman's Landing rental room and hopped on the San Diego and started as a deckhand and worked his way right to the top. He's done that's key on a boat.
Yeah,
to go through all the steps.
I think clearly we should point out that the Fisherman's Landing rental room kicks out the best local islands fishermen.
Yeah, that's right.
Came from
worked
there also.
Yep.
The
you worked there too?
Yeah. Fisherman's Landing rental room is where it really that's where the magic starts.
Cool.
Yep.
How about that?
Yeah,
huh?
we owe it to Paul Morris, and Gary White.
Yeah. Teaching you how to do the tackle first and then run the boat.
Yeah, well, I think it was important to get to see the business from all sides.
Totally, man. Totally.
You get. I always tell my crew, try to see life through the eyes of the passenger, and it really helped me starting in the rental room to see that side of the business.
So how did you go from the rental room at Fisherman's Landing to owning the San Diego? Give us the kind of the scenario of how that worked.
It can happen fast in this industry because it's relatively a small group of guys, and just keeping my eyes open and watching the guys that I felt were successful. And obviously Frank and Bill Poole were walking into the rental room almost every day, so I was constantly watching them. Frank's operation on the Royal Polaris. What the boat I started on was Ed McEwen on the Pacific Queen needed a crew. Yeah, and he had seen me around the dock and gave me a shot. I went on the Pacific Queen with Ed, and that's where it started. I always knew I wanted to be on the boats. I was just a little young, so the rental room took me in at Fisherman's Landing, and I eventually got to the boats. And if you just work hard and keep your eyes open, you can move up fast in this industry.
Yeah.
And look at Aliar and the Polaris Supreme. It can be a sprint, and you got to get a little bit lucky with the people you meet. But if you're doing a good job, they'll find you.
Yeah,
that's a good thing to say.
And you're around good people like Frank, and gives people opportunities. And
a lot of people know Frank, and there might be some people that don't feel too highly of him in this world. But how many 30-year-olds with a not so great past have you invested $1 million in?
Yeah.
He's given a lot of people opportunities, and I'm forever grateful.
Oh yeah, for sure. And and there's a lot of big Frank fans out there for sure. And I think anybody that's a Frank detractor is just jealous.
I think so too.
For sure.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks a lot for the call this morning. I have some sad news to report. Gary Schiebler, our great buddy from the world's greatest fishing band, the Dorados, knows, just went into hospice care. He's been battling cancer for 21 months, and it's not looking good for Gary. So our thoughts and prayers go out to Gary and his family while he battles this horrible disease, and we're very saddened to hear about that. But Gary, we're wishing you all the best.
Yep, no doubt. Sure.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and jump back on the phones.
You got it. How about this time we talk to Chuck? Chuck's calling us from Dana Point this morning. Hi, Chuck. Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey, guys. God bless you, Gary. Anyway, I've never had a bad comment from anybody I've sent your way to fish on the San Diego. What's a good day boat? San Diego. The crew so tuned in and talk about space for your gear. You've always had enough space for us. Me and Junior will always bring too much stuff. But,
isn't that always the way?
These limited loads, that's why I used to fish in Albacore days, too. You always went on limited load boats. But what people forget is there's 10 people less. You got to step up the tipping because all these guys work their butts off just to get off the dock and out to the water, whether you catch fish or not. All these guys work their tails off, and they deserve a tip. Look around, you had 5 or 6 guys on the boat that are helping you. You got to make it happen. They're out there to serve you, and when you catch fish, everybody's so happy and tip. But you got to tip on the bad days too. So, and that's bluefin.
That's cool. No, that's good. Good note. Yeah, if you're, with these guys carrying less passengers, you got to look at that. It's like, hey, tip accordingly to the percentage of the fare, right? Ryan, is kind of the general, the 15 to 20% of the fare.
Yeah, that's usually the rule, and that's a touchy subject for me.
Sure, understandable.
Totally. Yeah, if you don't feel you received good service, don't tip them anything.
Yeah,
but if you feel you received good service, 15 to 20% of the ticket price is usually
the norm.
The norm, yeah.
All right,
yeah.
Very good. Hey, thanks a lot for the call this morning, Chuck.
Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. More of your phone calls, more great text. You stay tuned. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the mightier 1090. This is Rock Cod Rick for Adventure in Camping, where they bring the adventure to you. If you enjoy camping in the Eastern Sierra but don't own an RV or a trailer, or simply don't want the hassle, let Adventure in Camping park it for you. It's simple. Check out their website, adventureincamping.com, select from over 75 campgrounds they serve, decide on a trailer floor plan that fits your needs, request a quote for your desired vacation dates, then just show up and start your adventure. Dallas and I did exactly that, and it was incredible. We chose a beautiful Mammoth area campground. Adventure in Camping delivered the trailer to our spot. We showed up, enjoyed a clean, spacious trailer without any of the hassle. When it was time to go home, we just closed the door and drove away. It doesn't get any easier. If you enjoy camping in the Eastern Sierra but don't want the hassle, Adventure in Camping is for you. Check out adventureincamping.com for details. Make sure to mention Rock Cod Rick sent you for a special 20% off offer, but this special won't last long, so go to adventureincamping.com today.
Hey, it's time to talk about great gear from Shimano. And when we're talking about Coronado Islands Yellowtail, is there anything better than a Trinidad?
How do you get better than that?
Yeah.
High-speed gearing, but very, very torquey, easy to turn the handle when you get a fish. There's nothing that free spools like a Trinidad, and it's got the drags to back it up.
Yeah, and of course, budget-minded, you have the Torium, too, which is another phenomenal reel from Shimano. Probably half the price of a Trinidad. It's not a Trinidad, but it's a pretty darn nice reel.
I always say with Torium, you're spending half the price, but but Trinidad is not twice the reel. You know what I mean? It's a close second at a very budget friendly price. You said it best. Is it a Trinidad? No, but it's not far off on a reel that a whole lot of us can afford a whole lot easier.
Yeah, so check it out at your local Shimano dealer, the Torium and a Trinidad reel for Yellowtail.
One of the dream trips for most anglers is Alaska. There are so many lodges. How do you make a choice? It's easy. Choose the one most Let's Talk Hookup listeners return to time after time. Kingfisher Charters and Sitka Antarctica, Alaska. No one does it better than Kingfisher Charters. They offer the best service, the most comfortable accommodations, fantastic food, and the finest charter captains in Sitka, all for the ultimate value. One visit and you will understand why nobody beats Kingfisher Charters. Sitka is famous for some of the best runs of salmon in Alaska. And if giant Alaskan halibut is your target, the expert captains at Kingfisher Charters know the hot spots and can put you on a fish of a lifetime. Plenty of rockfish and huge lingcod are there too. And when it comes to fish processing, the best in Alaska is Kingfisher Charters. It's all included in your package. In fact, everything is included except tips. It is truly amazing how the Kingfisher crew continues the quality of service they deliver year after year. Kingfisher Charters, 800-727-6136, or check kingfishercharters.com. Have you been looking for a live bait hook that keeps live bait alive? Look no further than Japan's leading fish hook, Gamakatsu. It's the little things that make the difference, and Gamakatsu hooks drive the point home. With an absolute perfect bend and ideal barbs, your bait swims harder and longer. And when you get bit, Gamakatsu hooks bite back with a vengeance. All hooks are not the same. Go with Gamakatsu for infinite success. Gamakatsu, simply the best. Check gamakatsu.com.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having a great time this morning to find out what's biting with the Catch Report today. Today's Catch Report is sponsored by Terrafin. Focus your offshore fishing in the most productive areas by using Terrafin.com. Temperature, chlorophyll, and more. When you use Terrafin Mobile, you can download the water charts and take them with you on your mobile device, whether it's be an iPad, right on your phone, whatever. You can have all the latest water charts on the water with you. And now check out the new enhanced water contour features. Terrafin is the professional's choice for accurate information. Check Terrafin.com. I always say the same thing. You ask any guy like Captain Ryan Bostian, nobody goes fishing offshore without the most up-to-date water picture. I mean, that is the most important tool, no doubt about it.
No doubt, and Terrafin does a great job.
Yeah, you got it. Hey,
5 times a day for me.
5 times a day you're looking at Terrafin?
Oh, yeah.
Is that right?
Easy.
Does it change that much?
No.
Yeah, but it can.
It can.
Yeah.
It can.
That's
wow.
Right. Well, let's head on up to Dana War Sport Fishing. Talk to our good buddy, Captain Brian Willie's on the line. What's up, Willie?
Hey, good morning, guys. How's it going in there this morning?
Great.
Good. Hey, our week up here, we can definitely tell that things are in a transition mode, with the water, the color, clarity of the water, all that kind of stuff. Our water temps this week, 60 to 63 was kind of what we worked with on our stretch of the coast here. Inshore, the bass fishing has continued to show some signs of improvement. Right now, all the bass action, it's still out over the hard bottom spots. So sliding egg sinkers like a 1/4 ounce, 1/8 ounce with these nice anchovies we have for bait have been getting the baits down to where this fish has been suspended over the hard bottom. With this fish on the hard bottom, we haven't seen much fish in the kelp, as that bass just isn't up in the kelp yet. It's still down on the bottom and in and around the kelp. So we haven't really been fishing that quite yet. Some nice sheephead and sand bass being caught, too, for the guys fishing the bottom with a little bit heavier sinkers on those reverse dropper type deals. Out on our 3/4 day range, it's still been rockfish. Excuse me. With the water constantly kind of pushing in and around, we're seeing that bait move in and out with it. So the days that we can get out on that 40 to 50 fathom hard bottom without the bait are the days that we're catching more fish. Grouper, the reds and other mixed rockfish. On the days that we just can't seem to avoid the bait, where it's all kind of filled in there, or you've seen more open and whitefish in our counts and a few mixed rockfish. So it's just been kind of a transition in between some of that stuff. We did slide into the kelp and the hard bottom down on that stretch in North County there off Camp Pendleton to kind of give that a good check, and the bass action exactly the same as it was above our harbor. All that fish, again, it's biting on the hard bottom and not in the kelp yet. So just keeping tabs on that stuff. Over at San Clemente Island, the Fury, he continues to have that great rock fishing for his passengers. Really solid mixed bags of rockfish. 10 fish limits of just really good quality rockfish for him over there. It's well worth making plans to jump on a trip out there. And they're also, again, seeing a sign on that yellowtail over there. The problem with that fish is it needs daily looks, as Ryan can attest to. When you're fishing the island, you need to have daily looks at that fish to keep it relevant, to keep track of it. And they just haven't had the coverage. They just haven't been able to get the boat out there every single day and on every trip. So certainly if you guys want to hop on a trip and get over there, he's had really good fishing. And then, there's that chance of that yellowtail over there too. So that's kind of it for us. If you want to hop on a trip, call our landing here, The number 949-496-5794. Of course, you can check us out on the web too, danawharf.com.
Awesome, buddy. Well, sounds like certainly some great fishing, and like you said, transition week, but looking forward, we got nice weather in front of us, not a lot of wind. It sure feels like the corner is being turned right now, and even with some changing conditions, still some great fishing to be had up there at Dana Wharf. Willie, we sure appreciate a great report. Thanks for always keeping us so up to date, and we'll look forward to talking to you next week.
All right, guys. Thanks for that. We'll talk to you then. See ya.
You got
Thanks,
it, buddy.
Brian.
Thanks a lot for that. Hey, some great info going on, great phone calls, and some great text. And we had a really fun text message come through. This one was from Nick in Chula Vista. Says, Captain Ryan, what binoculars do you guys like to use when spotting? And is there anything in particular that you look for when you're just scanning areas of open water?
Oh, that's a good question. We use the Fujinon staboscopes on the San Diego. I think we have 4 pairs of them. I know, Rick, on your skiff, you like the yellow ones, the Frasers, which are really, you can't go wrong, in my opinion, between the Frasers or the Fujinons. I just got used to the Fujinons.
But you can buy 3 pairs of Fujinon staboscopes for what 1 pair of Frasers go, right?
No, they're the same.
Oh, they're the same.
Yeah,
okay.
the same cost.
Okay, it's the same cost. Oh, okay. And what am I the Fujinon that I'm thinking of that's less?
You're thinking
expensive?
the Techno stage.
Techno,
yeah.
Okay, there's the difference.
Boog's making a big leap when he says you're good with any pair of $5,000 binoculars.
Yeah, that's what we use. And as far as what we look for from a captain's perspective, when we're up there, we're looking for anything that's different, that looks out of place. When you're scanning the water, it all looks the same, and then you see one bird that did something weird, or you're a piece of water that just looks a little different than everywhere else around it. It could be a breezer, we're just looking for something that looks out of place, and then we investigate it further. We drive that way or look at it. A lot of times we find kelp patties because I'll follow one bird in my vision for a couple miles. I'll see one seagull, and he looks like he's flying at a good rate of speed, like he's going somewhere. Follow him, see where he's going, and sure enough, he lands on a kelp patty.
Huh.
So, yeah, just looking for anything that looks out of place.
Out of place.
Or different. Yeah.
So are you in the binoculars all the time?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. So, yeah, if you're on a private boat and you have to go to the bathroom and you pee over the side of your private boat and the San Diego's close to you, well, unfortunately, we see everything.
Your size of the
Unfortunately, we see everything because we're always looking through the binoculars.
Always looking through the binoculars.
So try to use the restroom.
Yeah.
Think about the investment, though, in the boat and their passengers. You said you had 4 pairs. Well, that's $20,000 in investment into the boat. But, I mean, what an important tool that is. Right? I mean, that's not... You don't get that money back for anything. I mean, that's a $20,000. You know, that's what that is that you put into the boat just for your, and more importantly, your passenger success.
Yeah, they're worth every penny, in my opinion. Fishing's tough in the big picture around here. There's a lot of boats. If you really wanted to go out and guarantee yourself that you were going to catch tuna before you came back to the dock, you would go out on like a month-long trip. Yeah. For us, we have a day, and so we have to take advantage of everything. We can't, we can't miss an opportunity. So we're always looking.
Yeah. Speaking of boat pressure, yesterday there were a lot of boats, a lot of day-and-a-half trips offshore. There was quite a number of boats out. Do you think that has anything to do with the bluefin tuna not kind of cooperating yesterday?
I don't think so.
No.
In some cases, I think boat pressure does play a factor. But as far as the bluefin, I don't think.
No.
Those guys probably welcomed the coverage yesterday. Yeah, I know. I talked to the guys in the morning. They all woke up in like a 3-mile area, tight to one another on the same edge where they did good on Thursday. And throughout the day, guys just started to scatter, because like we were talking about earlier, for us to catch bluefin, we need to be on the biomass.
Yeah.
We need to be on so much fish. It looks like every boat is going to catch 1,000 of them. but actually, every boat just catches 2 per person.
Yeah.
That's how smart they are and how hard they are to catch. And so, by mid-morning, these guys were spreading out in all different directions, trying to relocate that biomass.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Well, let's jump back in the phones.
You got it. How about this time we talk to Mike? Mike's calling us from Santa Cruz. Good morning, Mike. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
Hi, Mike.
I'm not really so much of can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
Oh, okay. Not really so much a question this morning, just finally getting a chance to call in. Usually I listen to you guys on Saturday mornings while I'm at work, so you really help my Saturday mornings go by. But just want to thank you also for turning me on to so many killer products. Those Gamakatsu knowledge surplus of a kind.
Right on, Mike. Well, appreciate the phone call and appreciate the kind words, buddy. Thanks very much.
All right, and thanks for supporting the sponsors like Gamakatsu, too, that we appreciate that. Hey, speaking of Santa Cruz in Northern California, I got a report from Harold Davis today that at Avila and Morro Bay, all the way up to Pigeon Point, above Santa Cruz, limits of salmon reported. So really good salmon fishing up there. Thanks, Harold, for that report.
And I know it was really good for a couple weeks, and it sounded like that Santa Cruz fishery dipped down a little bit, and that just like here, that fish was missing for a couple of days. So glad to hear that is fired back up, and those guys are really getting them good again. That's great. That's great info.
Definitely.
All right. Hey, with that, we're going to continue on with our catch report. Check in with the surf guru, Gundy Gunderson's on the line. What's up, Gundy?
Hey, what's happening?
We're doing great, buddy. What's going on with Gundy?
It's we edge closer to that wide open spring fishing, and then we get these little weather events. The swell's up right now, and a little breezy, so a little tough conditions. But boy, overall, it's really shaping up. And I'd say the thing to look at this week was the live bait bite in the bays and harbors. With the conditions, a lot of guys went inside, and a lot of nice fish were taken. We'll start up north, though, on the perch. Good action off Santa Barbara. Reported hook, line, sinker. Most anglers report limits on fish to 1.5 pounds. Refugio, El Capitan, Gaviota were three of the better spots. Lugworms, mussel, gulp, getting the job done. Two illegal halibut also were checked into the shop this week, a 24 and a 25-inch taken off Santa Claus Lane and Summerlin there. Cut anchovy did the job on both of those fish. Wiley's held an Uptown Derby Saturday, and, those guys have been looking for those big spawners. They did get a nice fish, a 1 pound, 12-ounce fish. Most of the fish were like half to a pound. And then a nice kicker, 3-pound Corbina was also in the catch. Tough conditions. They were able to eke out that nice fish, but big swell and wind made things tough. Big leopard sharks at Temescal there. The guys are getting it on whole squid. Just Fishing reported good action near the Hermosa Pier. 3-pound, 2-ounce Corbina taken near the pier there. A 12-pound halibut also taken near the pier earlier in the week. Tough conditions yesterday, but that will bounce back. Big Fish reported good halibut action in Alamitos Bay. The Marina Bridge was a hot spot, kicking out probably half a dozen legals up to 32 inches. Live smelt has been the hot bait there. Hogan's reported more good halibut action early in the week. The stretch from Rivieras to Cotton's Point's been a good one. Cherry Berry Flash Minnow was one of the hot baits there. Bark Perch catches off strands. Very good Salt Creek. Finally, quality halibut quality fishing in the lagoons, if I could say so, Pete. 31-inch fish taken in Oceanside Harbor on a live anchovy taken from the bait receiver. They're using live smelt in the lagoons. 16-pound, 12-ounce fish leads the Pacific Coast Derby. They got a 11-pound, 13-ounce on the board. So some really good fishing. And if I could give a little Gundy tip, it would be, it's pretty easy to make a sled, out of a boogie board. You take one of those storage containers and drill a bunch of holes in it, and then cut a square hole, drop that storage container into the boogie board. And a lot of times, those bait receivers, you can holler at the guy and he'll come over and give you a $5 slap of anchovies. and boy, you're on your way,
There you go. A little sled, a little bait sled.
A sled, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like it,
You'd be surprised how good that live bait fishing could be in the bays.
Oh, yeah.
It'll definitely keep you busy.
Yeah.
That's the Steve Loomis rule. There's no such thing as too much live bait. Nothing bites anything like it bites a live sardine.
That's for sure.
He's right about that.
Yeah. Hey, Gundy, great report. Surf guru extraordinaire, Gundy Gunderson. I sure appreciate that, and we'll talk to you next Sunday.
Yeah, the weather straightens out, I think, the end of the week, and we're going to get really going, so be ready.
All right.
Thanks, Gundy. Appreciate
Have a good one, guys.
Report.
Good
you
show.
too, buddy. Appreciate that very much. Hey, want to remind you, check out surffishtackle.com for all your surf fishing reports, tackle, and a whole lot more. Hey, when we come back, we got more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way, more with Captain Ryan Bostian of the San Diego, and a lot more of your phone calls. You stay tuned. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the mightier 1090.
If you're looking for a high-quality cocktail that's also easy to enjoy on your next fishing trip, check out Cutwater Spirits' lineup of canned cocktails. Cutwater's master distiller and co-founder, Yusuf Cherney, is a hardcore fisherman. In fact, he developed Cutwater with all his favorite adventures in mind. Yusuf takes Cutwater's award-winning spirits, uses them to make real cocktails, and then puts them into cans so you can take them anywhere. It's like they were made for fishing because they were actually made for fishing. Check out their popular canned margarita made with real tequila, the zesty vodka mule, or the spicy Bloody Mary, which has some serious bite. They also make super refreshing vodka sodas in grapefruit, lime, and cucumber flavors. Just crack the can and enjoy a bar-quality cocktail even when there's no bar in sight. Back at the dock or at your evening anchorage in Catalina, Cutwater cocktails are exactly what you need for your next fishing trip. You can check out all 18 of Cutwater's canned cocktails at cutwaterspirits.com and then look for them at your local liquor store. Then go ahead and set your cocktail free. Please enjoy responsibly.
When it comes to fishing rods for saltwater, there's just one name you need to know, CalStar. Take, for example, the Graphiter series. It's a true graphite and fiberglass composite rod, the finest it's ever been built. And for anglers seeking traditional performance, durability, and quality at an affordable price, the CalStar West Coast series of rods and blanks are the ones for you. Their master craftsmen bring decades of rod building experience to every rod they make. So if you want your fishing rods to be truly state-of-the-art, I always recommend CalStar at fine tackle stores everywhere.
Your San Diego County Ford dealer knows that vehicles are not one size fits all, and they have a variety to choose from to suit your individual wants and needs. Looking for a truck to handle both work and play? The legendary F-150 has you covered with its military-grade aluminum alloy body and high-strength steel frame and smart technology, like the available Pro Trailer Backup Assist to help you back up your boat with the turn of a dial. Or do you need a vehicle that's ready for your next adventure? The Ford Ranger is standing by, so grab your gear and let's go. This adventure-ready truck has an available terrain management system that has 4 selectable drive modes depending on what terrain you're on for optimum performance. Is an SUV more your speed? No problem. Your San Diego County Ford dealers have those too. The 2020 Ford Explorer has been completely redesigned inside and out and has available third-row power-fold seats to easily accommodate more passengers or cargo and available twin-panel moonroof to let the outdoors in. Visit buyfordnow.com to learn more or visit your nearest San Diego County Ford dealer today. They'll be glad to hook you up.
Here's John Ireland for Rancho Leonero.
You know, the ranch is unique. It's one of the few places in the world where you can still drive ATVs up the beach. We have fishing from the beach. We have dive trips that we run to Pomo in a number of different spots. Kayaking, of course, has been real big. We were one of the first hotels to introduce kayaking. The ranch is small, you know, it's intimate. It's 34 rooms, so everyone gets to know everyone. The old saying, where everyone knows your name. Well, truly at Rancho Leonero, the employees do know pretty darn near all our guests' names. And what's even more interesting is most of the guests know each other's names. Very personal, very intimate, and a special, special environment. 2 miles of beachfront, a mile on either side of the hotel. Rancho Leonero is really the last of the old-style Baja fishing resorts. 1-800-646-2252. 1-800-646-BAJA. And RanchoLeonero.com. I'll personally guarantee your best fishing experience and vacation at Rancho Leonero.
Shimano has done it again. An amazing lever drag 2-speed reel at an affordable price. It's Speedmaster 2, the extremely durable high-performance Speedmaster 2 with high maximum drag power and a smooth ultra-wide range of drag adjustability is an absolute fish-fighting machine. Its rigid Hagani body prevents misalignment of moving parts under the heaviest loads. Plus, a spare drag cam is included for optimal use with monofilament lines. The Speedmaster is now available in 4 models, 12, 16, 20, and 25. This is the perfect reel for the angler looking for a powerful, lightweight, smooth casting reel for tuna or other powerful saltwater game fish at a more affordable price. Nothing in its class can match the Shimano Speedmaster 2, built to provide high-end performance and dependability in a compact, lightweight frame. Get the Shimano Speedmaster 2 lever drag reel at your local Shimano dealer. Check Shimano.com for all the details.